Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off, plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code LISTEN50.
Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off, plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code LISTEN50.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us this week. We're actually going to run a repeat this week because Katerina is graduating high school. Oh, yes. The time has come. I can't believe it. My child is graduating high school. I don't know why, and I think maybe I've talked about this before, but she's not my youngest kid, but she's my baby. All right, well, we'll have to take a dive into this next week. I just wanted to say to everyone, if your child is graduating or your sister or your brother or your parent or your aunt or your uncle or anyone's graduating, congratulations. It's also wedding season starting, all the fun things. Wishing everyone the best and can't wait to connect with you all next week. Let's Talk with Heather Dubrow starts now. We have a lot to catch up on. I have the fabulous Kelly Stafford here. She really needs to not be linked to anyone. She happens to be married to like this football guy, whatever. But she's the host of The Morning After. She's got 4 girls. We're going to break it all down. I can't wait to talk to you about the whole IVF thing because I have a similar story.
I love it.
I want to talk to you all about it. But first, we need to congratulate my fabulous producer, Steve. He and Rebecca got engaged last weekend. Yay!
Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it.
You did a great job.
Okay, as long as you approve. Then...
I did. We had a whole talk beforehand. Like they were going to be at the beach, and he wanted her to look at the ocean, and I'm like, but is someone taking a photo? Then her back is to the photo.
You know what? I really think men need that because they don't think about all the things when it goes into it.
He killed it, though.
I love that. Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
And the ring is beautiful.
Yes.
Gorgeous. We were just talking about before we started about lab diamonds. Not that he bought a lab diamond. I'm just saying we were talking about lab diamonds because Terry and I are having our 25th wedding anniversary, and we upgraded my ring recently, and it wasn't until after that he found out lab diamonds were a thing.
Existed. I know. And I just told you my story of when a girl that I knew got engaged and her ring was stunning. I was like, oh my gosh, your ring is so beautiful. She goes, oh, it's lab grown. I said, well, what does that mean?
Like, do you have to say that? Is that like the new, like, oh my God, you have the greatest body, and they say they're implants?
Right. Well done. Well
done.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think I would tell anyone just because I'm like, yeah, it's diamonds, beautiful. Thank you very much. We're going to move on.
Okay, well, here's my question. Is it a knockoff? Meaning, so I have a thing about knockoffs. Mm-hmm. I despise a knockoff. I see it as copyright infringement.
Okay.
And look, there's been times where I could afford a lot of things, and there were times where I couldn't afford a lot of things. And I didn't buy knockoffs. I just waited or saved. And when I could afford something, I took really good care of it. I mean, I have literally the first thing I ever bought of, like, I was going to say of substance, but,
luxury or
luxury.
Value, yeah.
Yes. Well, I got a job when I was in high school. I was hired as an actress. Awesome. And I bought this Chanel belt with this little bag that hangs off of it. And I still have it.
Wow.
This was a long time ago.
So you, with your own money, went and bought that.
Yes.
Real, not fake.
Yes.
Now, can I tell you my side?
Yes. I
will buy a completely fake tennis necklace or tennis bracelet because people think it's real.
Well, yes.
And I hate to tell them, but a lot of it's not.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want the real thing. And I know that my husband could afford that, but I lose things.
I get that.
And I've lost already a ring. I've lost a necklace. And so finally I was like, you know what? Let's just.
Okay, here's what's weird. I don't have a problem with that. And to your point, I had these really pretty diamond earrings and we were in Las Vegas, and I was trying on jewelry at a counter in Chanel.
Oh, no.
And I put them in my purse and forgot.
Yeah.
And I was going in and out of the purse to get stuff and gone. And they were insured.
Oh, that's nice. That's
So I got the insurance money.
Yes.
And I thought about it. And I thought, do I really want to buy a plain pair of diamond earrings? And so I went to Nordstrom
Mm-hmm.
and I bought for $60 a fake pair of diamond earrings. And I will tell you, out of all of my jewelry, that is my only fake.
That's the fake one.
That's the fake one because I'm scared about losing them. And also with earrings, like you kind of want different sizes or different like colored, like
Yes.
yellow gold or white gold. And
Lots of options.
there's lots of options.
Ears.
And I wouldn't like do that.
Yeah. I mean,
But that's not a copy. What I find a copy is if someone has a fake pair of Van Cleef earrings.
okay. And to be honest, I Van Cleef remind me. I'm horrible.
It's like the clover looking thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to me, that is someone's proprietary design. A pair of diamond
agreed.
studs or a tennis bracelet or a tennis necklace, that's just diamonds.
Okay. So you're talking about like when you're on the streets of New York
Yes.
and there's all the fake
the
stuff.
Louis
sitting out
Vuitton
there.
bags
Yeah.
and the things.
I don't go down that road. I don't go
No.
down that. But I will, every now and then buy some fake stuff to put around my neck or my wrist because
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I don't, and it's nothing that's like crazy big or anything like that. They're very small and petite, but I just lose things.
I get it. I don't.
And you get it. You have 4 kids. Like things just disappear, and I don't.
So
know
do
how.
you feel obligated to tell someone? Because like I definitely have
Ooh, that's a-
costume jewelry,
Mhm.
which I love. And I do have actually, now that I'm thinking of it, like I have some drop dangly things that could be real, but they're
Yes.
not.
But like you were saying, it's not like a designer that you're.
No, it's just like
Yeah.
random stuff. And so just random stuff. But like I was at an event recently and I was with a friend and he said to me, "Oh my God, those earrings are stunning." And the way he said it,
Yeah.
I knew he thought that they were real. And I was like, "Oh, they're fake." And he's
Yeah.
like, "So what? They're so pretty." I'm like, "No, I know. I don't know. I just feel
Yeah.
weird,
And I do the same thing. But I will say when people tell me, I'm like, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Yeah,
I
that's
say the
great.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird. So I have a double standard amongst myself.
I know. Well, maybe that's a lot. Like I feel like maybe many people do that. Where
I
they
know.
like, you're like, don't tell me that. They're just beautiful.
So do you feel like people like owe an explanation? Like it's a
I
lab
guess.
diamond.
I guess. I don't know. Because I've only met one person that did it that way and she immediately told me.
Well, so I heard, so some people say they want lab diamonds because they're obviously, they don't have to be sourced in mines and they
Right,
think
right.
they're more ethical and they're better for the environment.
They've seen blood
But-
diamond, like we talked,
Yeah, but
they've seen
someone
blood
told me that they're not good for the environment either, the way they do it in the lab.
You know what? I have no idea.
I have no idea.
With the
either.
environment stuff, I'm doing my best. I just moved to California. I'm really trying.
Aren't we lucky that we are in a position to have this conversation?
Absolutely.
God
Yeah.
bless. Grateful for all of it.
Let's talk about Australia. They've exported many things over the years that we've come to love. Uggs, the Crocodile Hunter, the Hemsworth brothers. But my new favorite export that's finally available in the US is the Koala sofa bed. Listen, when someone's coming to sleep over at my house, I want them to have an incredible experience. And usually when you have a sofa bed, it's creaky, it's uncomfortable. The guests really aren't excited about it. But this is a whole new ballgame. It's inspired by the Aussie Outback. Koala delivers Instagram-worthy color options, no sad beige, no millennial gray hair, and there's no uncomfortable metal frames. Unlike traditional sofa beds, Koalas are designed for pure comfort. So there's no Allen wrenches, no stress, no tears for Jerry. Everything comes in the box and easily slides, clicks, or screws together. So no need for a guest room. Koala sofa bed comes in 3 sizes to fit even smaller spaces. With no delivery or restocking fees, that's almost unheard of in the industry. Plus, a 120-night risk-free trial. Nearly 4 months to make sure it's the perfect fit for your home. So upgrade your space with the most stylish, customizable, and elevated sofa bed available. To get $100 off your new sofa plus fast shipping, go to us.koala.com/Heather. That's us.koala, KOALA.com/Heather to get $100 off your new sofa. Koala, comfy, easy, sustainable.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Are you feeling stuck in your career or lacking employment at the moment? Experiencing symptoms of job dissatisfaction? You might be suffering from a common condition known as career stagnation. But don't worry, there's a solution. Monster.com. Monster.com offers a comprehensive suite of career-boosting tools designed just for you. Our free resume review and AI interview prep tool will help you stand out from the crowd. Need more guidance? Dive into our career advice articles for expert tips and insights. And don't forget to check out our salary tools to ensure you're getting paid what you're worth. Side effects may include a new job, increased confidence, and a brighter future. Consult Monster.com today and take the first step towards your new career. Ready for your next job opportunity? Visit Monster.com now.
Tell everyone where you moved from.
I moved from Detroit. I'm born and raised Atlanta and moved to Detroit when I was 19. Was there for 12 years and then made my way out here about going on 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that must be hard to pick up and move all the time.
Harder with a family.
Yes.
Like when it was just me following the person I loved without a commitment. Dumb looking back. I would never let my daughters do that.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. What did your parents say?
They did not want me going.
And you were like, I'm going. I love him.
I was the baby. At this point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to get out of Georgia.
But you were also so young. I feel like if you were my daughter, I'd be like, yeah, go have fun. It's not like,
yes,
you were older. Look, if you're 37 and you haven't met your person and you want to have children and maybe like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Or, that I would understand. But you were like,
I was 19.
Yeah, you were a child.
And to be honest, I had not finished school yet. So my dad was like, what the hell? No. And we battled it out for a little bit. I love my father. And looking back at it, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I would do. And Matthew with our own daughters. Matthew sat down with him and made him, I guess, feel okay about it.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do when you went?
What do you mean?
When you were following him around?
Well, I went to nursing school. So I transferred. University of Georgia, where I went, didn't have a nursing program anyways. So when I transferred up to Michigan, found a school that had a great nursing program, entered that, got my first degree, and then went into the accelerated nursing program. So I was in school right when I moved up there. Did the nursing thing for a bit, and then got married, and kids happened, and that's kind of really it.
Isn't it so crazy? I've talked about this before, but isn't it so crazy going from a full-time working person to a full-time stay-at-home mom?
It's a big change.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it's like the grass is greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
When you are working and you can't stay home, you think it's amazing to stay home. But when you're staying home and don't have the career, you're like, I want the career. And I think this is a big topic in our world right now with women in careers. But I always, when I did have the career, I loved it. I worked for a plastic surgeon. He was great. And then when I had my children, I loved being home, but damn, is it hard.
Man, it's hard. And no, people do not tell you that. And people, especially, I find with Instagram, especially all the social and all the, aren't we wonderful? And look at how perfect. And I make my own butter. And really?
So tired.
Are you kidding me?
I'm done with the perfection. It's actually the reason I started the podcast, was to basically talk about the hangovers that life gives you and be real about it, whether that's from kids or careers or alcohol, because that's usually what the morning at, but it's basically to talk about that because I was so tired of seeing the perfection and I felt like it was really weighing on my mental health. So I was like, I need to just get it all out.
No, I love that you do this because and back in the day when my kids were little, we didn't have any, there were no podcasts, there was no social media, there was nothing that, and women and I think many women are still this way, although I see it getting better, they don't want to share.
No, yeah.
Because everyone's family is perfect. Tell me how old the girls are.
They are, the twins just turned 7, and then I have an almost 6 and an almost 4. It's
You're in it, sister.
It's a fun ride. I know.
Those are good ages, though.
You know what? I think we're hitting like a really good stride.
Yeah.
Now that the 3-year-old's almost 4, she's kind of doing her own thing. She doesn't require a lot. We're out of diapers, which is huge.
Isn't that great? See, I have a lot of mom friends that were always so sad when the things ended. I was like and with 4, like when the last one, well, I don't know if this is your last one, but I knew it was my last one. Okay,
it's
mine
too.
I had my tubes double knotted because that one was natural. And so, I knew that was the last one. And I was like, I'm enjoying every moment and I am so excited to let it go.
I understand when moms like have the tears at the graduations or
That's
like
different.
when they're like graduating from preschool, I'm like, yes, longer days at school. They're getting, they're just, I don't know. I'm not
one less drop off.
And I'm sure I will miss it. Sure, I'll miss it. But right now, I am unfortunately just like trying to survive, which I always tell myself to slow down because I'll miss these times. But when you're in it, it's just like, I got to get to the next day.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't miss that.
You don't? You okay? See, that makes me feel better.
I loved it. But you know what's so cool is watching them evolve into these little people. I was so happy the last time I ever had to make a poster for school.
Is it our job to make the
I don't
posters?
know. When the glue gun was gone, I was really happy.
I'm already done with school projects, and they're only in first grade.
Diorama, kill me. But look, it's so fun to go to school and watch the performances and do the things and all of that. I think with 4 kids, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to be present for everyone and yourself and your partner.
For sure.
And try to do it all even, half good. But what I will tell you, light at the end of the tunnel, like they're so cool when they're older.
I honestly, I cannot wait where I'm a friend and not a parent.
Yeah, well,
like,
it
where
does
they become
change.
my friends and they are taking care of themselves. And I'm looking forward to that time because I will say right now, it's just, you're right. I'm putting myself last, and I did a whole podcast on that because I realized just how much I've put myself last and how it's really affected me. And honestly, my marriage too. And so we've tried, we're working on it to be like, hey, we have to date each other, telling our kids that too. Cause our kids are like, you're going out again. I'm like, yep, mommy and daddy need it. You guys have our full attention all the time. We have to give each other attention, but it is, it's hard to spread out the attention amongst the 4 too. I always worry about one slipping through the cracks.
Yeah. Well, it's like everything else. A squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yes.
What I found was when they were smaller, I would take everyone everywhere, leave no man behind. I would schlep all 4 of them everywhere we went, all the things. I felt weird if someone wasn't there. And what I found is as they got a little bit older, well, I was very comfortable taking all 4 of them, like on vacation by myself.
Yeah.
Like without Terry.
I love that.
No problem, whatever. But when they got to a certain age, maybe, I'm trying to think how old Ace was when I started doing alone trips, but maybe 10.
Okay.
And I would do an alone trip with each of them. And it doesn't have to be a week-long journey and all this thing. It could be one night.
Love that.
And it is so good for them. It is so good for you. And the other thing is, I was always worried about leaving them when they were younger.
Yeah.
I wish we had left more because they don't remember.
They don't.
No, they remember nothing.
You know what I will say? I'm very much like you. I take all 4 where I go.
Yeah.
Now, Tyler is a new addition. She's my youngest. When she was a baby and younger, I did not take her. Because the older 3 are so close in age and they're easy. Now she's old enough. I take them everywhere. But I was talking to Matthew about it because I asked him, I said, I feel like you should take one daughter on a date every now and then.
Totally.
Just to connect with her a little bit.
The thing is, you can't make it brutal. So if it's like once a week, it's too much.
Wait, 4 daughters, that's 4 nights a week.
No.
Yeah.
No, even like one each week.
One each week.
That's too much. Do one a month. Yeah.
Then you got to spread it out. And then
Men can't handle it that well. I hate to be like that, but it's just true.
Yeah.
They're not used. Mine couldn't.
No.
And mine wasn't really good with the younger kids.
Yeah. Oh, well, Matthew, this is great. Matthew's like, hey, when you're 3 and you start talking to me, this is when we're going to bond.
Oh, Terry
Until
gave
then,
them
I'm
to
out.
like 12. He barely spoke to them.
It's like as the next one, the age gets longer. He's like, maybe 6 for you.
Oh, I know.
But no, this is something that we are actually discussing now because I have one daughter who is struggling more than the others. And you're right, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so a lot of my attention goes to her, which I had a very similar situation in my family, and I was kind of the one that was left to fend for myself. And so I think that I just want to make sure that doesn't happen, but it's tough when you have one that struggles. And
by the way, how about when you have one that's really strong and really doesn't need, I have one of those. And we got into it last night a little bit because she's really, really bright.
Mm-hmm.
She's very focused. She's talented. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really require very much. But like I went into her room last night and she's going to apply to college next year. And I go, she has it all handled. Like,
she's on top of it.
She's on top of everything. And so I went in her room and I go, listen, I know where you want to go to school, but she might apply. There's different kinds of early applications these days. But there's one place she might go early. And I said, not tonight, like tomorrow. Like, can we just talk about this? Maybe you're right. Maybe this is totally right. And she went nuclear on me. And I was like, oh.
She said was it like she knew? She's like, I don't need your help. I know.
Yeah. Like, why are you even saying this to me? How, she was not happy about the second. And I'm like, you're totally missing what I'm saying. I'm your mother.
Yeah.
I love you. I know you got this handled. I would just like to
talk it through,
have a conversation about it, because you have to understand, like, and you'll see this, like the twins are the first ones. So that's the learning curve, right? And you're doing two at the same time.
That's horrible.
And they're very different. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The same sex thing, I think, is probably even worse. Mine, at least, I had a boy and a girl. So you could go, oh, well, he's not as advanced because boys aren't.
Yeah.
Boys are a little slower sometimes. It's true.
We love men, but
We do. But listen, I had a full study in my house. They were parented by the same parents. They grew up at the same exact
thing.
time.
Yeah.
I saw it all.
Case study in your house.
Yeah, total case study. Anyway, so when they were going through college, I was, honestly, as you were saying, like the kindergarten graduation, that's the worst. Okay. Getting them into kindergarten is the hardest thing on the planet. And I swore to myself I would never do it again. So when it came to college, when they got to high school, I said, here's a private guidance counselor. You have resources. I ain't fighting with you. Do well, have choices. Don't do well, don't have choices. Up to you.
I just put it on
It's too stressful.
Well, I'm doing first grade homework and about to rip my hair out.
I called it at third.
Okay. You know what? I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that's
tutor.
a thing. Yeah. But when you pay a school, here's my thing. We do send them to a private school now.
I know.
I'm like, I'm paying a fortune for this school. I'm not paying for a tutor on top of it. That's crazy.
Well, then have them go to office hours.
Yeah. Okay. They don't offer it right now because it's first grade.
Yeah,
but
they might.
I'm like, y'all. They're like, oh, it's at 7 a.m. We live 35 minutes away. I'm like, I'm not waking my kids up at 5:30.
Well, listen,
to come do 2 + 2.
Okay, but when you get to the fourth one, you won't care. With Ace, I was like, does he know how to read?
But it turns out
at 10.
I feel like the last ones always figure it out.
Oh, he's so smart. He's so smart. He's not as motivated as Kat, as the 17-year-old, but he's very smart.
Yes.
But like, I just don't worry about it. I'm like, it'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
And when you were saying Kat's the one that is like
very together.
Yes. Yeah. And I have one like that too. Her name's Hunter. And I feel like sometimes my attention goes everywhere else and I forget about, and I don't forget about her.
No, I'm the same way.
She's always settled. She doesn't need, she plays by herself. She doesn't need anybody. And I tell my husband that I'm like, I'm so worried about the other ones that I forget I have her. And she still needs like us and attention and love, but it's hard. I'm like, I can't do it all. And then when he's in season, it's like,
and then you're alone.
I'm alone. And it's fine. We figure it out. But I will say like my temper and like my stress goes through the roof and I'm short with them. It's horrible, but I'm like just trying to make it through right now.
So when you see parenting experts, I'm not going to say the name.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
All right. Because some of the parenting experts, I want to like choke.
I don't know if
the way they speak. And then I pull her aside and I say, Mary, let's discuss that. What was your intention? You out of your fucking mind? Who can talk like that when they're infuriated?
The time?
I'm sorry.
No one has to like that's and listen, yes, I feel like I can like listen to these people and try to take some of it in. But I was also raised by a mother who did it very similar. And I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like I turned out okay. And so I'm sitting there, I'm going, almost all this information that we have, like it is amazing, but also I feel like it's a detriment. 'Cause it's like, shit, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing this right. As
It's
a
too
mom
much.
these days, it's too much information is too much. And sometimes ignorance is bliss. I'm not saying total ignorance, but doing it the way you feel that your kids react. Because you know your kids better. I hate to say it, better than a parenting expert.
Of course.
You know, and it doesn't. Yeah.
And if you're present and you communicate with them, because that's the most important thing. And my biggest advice, I always say, is to listen. Because as parents, we always want to like give our advice and give them our lessons. And let me just listen.
Yeah. I mean,
Let
that's
them
something I
talk.
could easily do better. Because I feel like sometimes I don't even have time to listen to the whole drawn out story. I'm like, listen.
Well,
get to
sometimes
the
they don't
point.
shut up.
I know. Like, the point
You have one of
is-
those?
Yeah, it's my littlest.
Yeah, we got one of those.
Yeah.
There's a filibuster. Never ends. Ever.
My husband's always like, Tyler. Like, yes, Daddy's like, just shh for 5 minutes. She's like, okay, Daddy. And
No, we're playing the quiet game, Tyler.
And you
Quiet
can't count
game.
5 minutes. You count 5 seconds. So it's different. But anyway, yes, I feel like, I mean, maybe it's with 4, you get all these dynamics that you're trying to juggle and be the right parent for every different child.
You can't.
And
You just got to go with it. And you've got to, can't have steadfast rules about things. And this is something that I've really learned over the last few years. Because, all right, when the twins were driving, bye, and take your sister with you.
Yes.
Off you go. What's weird is kids these days, you're not so hot to get the drive. Mine were.
Yeah.
But
I've
like,
heard about this.
Some kids don't want to get it. I'm like, are you kidding? When I turned 16, we were at that DMV
Yes.
getting that license. Freedom.
It's freedom.
I don't understand it at all.
Why are they just getting in Ubers?
Yes, because they have Ubers. There's just different ways to get around now.
Wait. Now, I wouldn't hate the safety aspect of an Uber when they're in high school.
Yeah, but you know what? Getting in an Uber sometimes can be
Dicey.
concerning also.
Yes, and I have all
What if
girls.
it's not an Uber Black? And are they together? Are they with other people? I don't know.
No,
I mean,
that's definitely
there's definitely safe ways to do it.
sure.
My kids do Uber, but there's parameters to where, when,
Yeah.
with whom, all of that.
I love that though, because I love that there's the option for them. Just because, I mean, I was not a perfect child growing up.
No,
and
me either.
I don't think there's many out there that are perfect, and we make mistakes. And so to have that to rely on now, I think is somewhat beneficial.
Yeah, you
but
also-
also can make behaviors more common.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although my kids, I mean, they're so good. They didn't do half the shit I did. I mean, honestly.
I hope
nothing.
that's mine.
Yeah, no, really, it's shocking. But did you get Life 360 yet?
No.
Oh, you got to get Life 360.
What is that?
Life 360, it's like this app, and you always know where they are.
Oh,
I mean,
based on their car, based on their phones.
phone. You can also
Okay.
get them a tile. Like, I'm serious,
A
to put in
tile.
their backpack or on their
Yeah,
their
I should do
person.
that.
It's crazy. But also, you put your husband on there too. You know where everyone
Everybody
is. If God
is.
forbid someone's in an accident, you find out right away.
Yeah.
All of it. And it's funny because I started it when the kids were young.
Okay.
And because I always thought and they had phones kind of young,
Yeah.
just because to me, that was just, I wanted to make sure
Yeah. Well,
I could get in touch.
I also don't think there's probably all the chaos that's on phones now.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't like that
Yeah.
then. But
Yeah.
they always had phones. And if they were with another family, or something,
Yeah, you know.
I just wanted to know.
I don't. I'm.
And so now we all have it, and we have a group chat, all of us, and everyone's on Life 360. So what's also nice about it is if Terry's, I don't know where he is, right?
Yeah.
If I can look on Life 360 and be like, oh, he's at the gym,
Yeah.
and I can see he's been there for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I know he'll be
Know
home
exactly.
for dinner.
Yeah.
I don't have to call him. What time are you coming home?
I'm actually going to write this
No,
down. Sorry,
it's the
before I
best.
forget.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I love it.
I will. I always, because my husband and I track each other on our phones.
This is better
just so
because
we
it gives
can-
you details too. You can see how fast they're driving.
Oh, really?
No, lots of information. And they
Wow.
can call roadside assistance. There's just a lot of good things with that.
Okay, I love that.
Anyway, so what I was going to say was the twins had gotten their licenses and they were gone.
Yeah.
And then in the pandemic, everyone came back together and it was so cool and so interesting and really reset the family in a very good way. So now, sometimes when I think everyone's dissipated and off track, I have to recenter everyone kind of the same way. And I'm sure this happens with your husband too. Is there a reentry when he comes home?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I will say right now, our daughters being the ages they are, he snaps out of it pretty quick. Just because they run up, and it is now when they get older. Now, and he's also not going to be in this career forever. So
Right.
there's that. But yeah, there's definitely a moment of like taking a deep breath, realizing, okay, I'm now went from a locker room of men to a house full of little girls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, got to change a little bit of his demeanor. So yeah, I get what you're saying with the reentry.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, but it's hard for the kids now because they're in college. And then they come home and all of a sudden you're back at home. And it's not like I'm such a rule-based, monger that they're, they're worried about that, but it's still different.
I'm sure they're doing what we all did in college and having a good time. And then they come home and it's like, wait, it would be tough. I feel like for my girls, when they go to college, if they did the things that I did in college, it would be tough for me to see it. Now, if I hear about it later on, I'd be like, okay, well, thank goodness you're okay and alive and whatnot. But if I had to see it real time at the home, I think that would be really tough because then they leave and now you're worried about that.
I know, it's so funny. My daughter does nothing. She doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke, she doesn't do anything.
Good for her.
I know. And my son's like normal college, not insane.
Not insane,
just normal.
Yeah.
And he's close by because he's at LMU, so I see him all the time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is it nice?
It's great.
Okay.
They're such cool kids. It's so nice. And like last night I was out with Terry and Nick, my oldest son, and my youngest son. It was great. It's getting hot, which means you need to dress accordingly. So don't go back to your same old worn out tank top and shorts. Update your daily uniform with Quince. Their pieces are easy, elevated, and make you feel more put together without even trying. Like 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30, Luxe swimwear, Italian leather platform sandals, and so much more. Personally, I love their organic cotton fisherman cardigan. It's delicious. It's yummy. The color's amazing and it cleans so well. Plus, it's a year-round essential. I mean, it does get cold on these summer nights here in California. It's comfy, it's oversized, it's kind of slouchy chic silhouette. It's fantastic. And the best part, everything with Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than what you'd find at similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury without the markup. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. So treat your closet to a little summer glow up with Quince. Go to quince.com/Heather for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Heather to get free shipping and 365-day returns. We'll talk about the IVF thing.
Yeah.
So we tried for like a year, and everyone knows my story, but basically did all the beginning things and then, ended up going to IVF. And there were so many, I was an actress at the time, and there were so many actors, friends of mine, that we all did IVF. And we were pissed off that our union health coverage wouldn't pay for it. Because it's like, man, we all put our, families on hold because of the careers and everything and had kids later.
That's really true.
Yeah. And then there we needed the IVF. But I did IVF for the twins.
Okay.
And then I wanted the experience of having a singleton.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and did IVF and only put one embryo in.
Okay.
And had Kat.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I just got pregnant naturally.
Isn't it funny how it works?
Crazy.
I have a similar, I did the twins. They're identical. So I put two in, and so twins was not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I was so grateful, but they were like, wait a second, they look identical. So let's make sure there's not a third in there because one egg split.
Right.
I always joke that the third one was a boy and he was like, I'm out of here. And so had that. And then after that got pregnant, like shortly after.
That's
my third.
Crazy. So you were like me. You had like 303.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but you know what? It was great.
It's kind of like 2 is so insane that when you add the third one, it really didn't matter, right?
And I feel like when you get them that close together, it's kind of like you're doing all the same shit. Anyways.
It's all, you still got diapers and things.
Yes. But I remember telling Matthew, because we were given a very low chance, and I talked about this on mine, but they did the procedure where they try to go through the fallopian tubes and see if there's any blockage.
The hysterosalpingogram. I'm going to tell you something.
I love that you know the name.
I do know the name because I thought it was the most violating procedure. I want to explain this a little bit.
Okay, do it.
So you have to go through all these tests, And you know what the men get to do? The men get to go into a room with a velvet sofa and pleasure themselves with a porno. And do you know what we have to do? Like everything else. Every test, every poke, every invasive, everything. But that hysterosalpingogram, so they go in there and they try to see if there's a block in the tubes. I can't believe I remember all this, but
I can't believe you remember the name. That's impressive.
You know, it's weird. I just said it to my sister the other day because she did IVF also, and we were talking about this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But so they go through the tubes. But what's crazy is you go to this place and this, for me, it was a dude that did the exam, and it's not an OB.
I had a resident, first-year resident.
I had some guy who thought he was like changing the oil in a car. It was the roughest. I mean, and you're laying there spread-legged, spread-eagle, and they're just like swabbing you and sticking things in you and shooting dye in you without, like, as if you're not a human.
Yeah.
And it's so painful, and I literally felt violated.
It was the most painful one I went through.
And why does no one tell you?
I don't know, but I also think it's the doctor. Like, so I had a doctor like ran into mine and told the resident to stop because I was like bawling, and he was trying to there was so much blockage that nothing was getting through. And so him pushing was just like
so painful. And, but at the end, you know, I've tried to tell myself this more now is, not why did it happen to me, but why did it happen for me? I truly believe that he pushed some of the blockage out for Hunter to come into the world. Like, wow.
Like that. And I'm, that's like my positivity trying to get out there. But I will say I walked out in that waiting room and my husband's asleep. So like you were saying, the men just, you know.
Mine didn't even go. Be glad he was there asleep.
Yeah.
I was by myself.
I like tapped him and he woke up. He said my face was just like swollen. My eyes were bloodshot. I had tears. And he was like, what the fuck happened?
But this is weird because you had the experience, I had the experience, and so did my sister. So I'm telling you, other women are having this experience. If anyone out there is going through fertility and they say you have to need a hysterosalpingogram, you make sure to tell them to be gentle and make sure you know who's doing it. I found that a lot of the things with fertility, so because my husband's a doctor, like he was like, oh, you know, let's go. We went to Hal Danzer. It was fantastic.
Okay.
Partners Mark Surrey, they're a big practice in Beverly Hills. And he, when Terry was in med school, rotated under Dr. Danzer.
Oh, okay.
He was fantastic. And he's so sweet. He's so nice. And he was great. And he really explained everything really, really well to me.
That's awesome.
But I had other people tell me, when you go in for fertility, it is a factory. They have new people every day. They're moving people in and out. And you really have to be your own advocate.
That's true.
What I realized, I hate that too. But what I realized with it, because you want to be able to go in the doctor and say, fix me.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
What I realized about the fertility thing was, I mean, they basically are reinventing the entire thing every time they have a new patient, because what your issues in your body and what's going to work for you is different than me, than her, than him, than him.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. I never thought of it like that. I mean, they do. I had a great doctor in Michigan who like bedside manner was amazing. And I think that's huge when it comes to infertility doctors.
Yes.
Just, you know, that they can kind of coach you through it, but also be like a shoulder to cry on, because there's a lot of tears that happen and they have to be patient with that. And so I had an amazing experience. I have a friend who had a horrible experience with a doctor. And like you said, like, I feel like that was more, and they all are factories, but you would hope that some of them take just a little more time and have a little more patience with people. Because the one my friend went to, I'm telling you what, they spent like 10 minutes with her, sent her to the clinic to get all these tests done, brought her back, told her what was wrong. And within 5 minutes, she was like, I guess I'm doing IVF. It wasn't like explain, you know, so she was like, I listened to the podcast that you did way long ago on IVF and it helped me. But like, I do think that unfortunately infertility is getting kind of a bad rep of doing that, just like turnover, wanting people to come in, try and fix you as quickly as they can. When that wasn't my experience at all. So I hate that. I hate that it's
that wasn't mine either.
And everyone says, well, we're playing God. And I'm like, playing God? It drives me crazy because I'm like, hold on now. I want kids. And I can't control what I was putting in my body when I was younger. Like, we didn't know. No one knew what was going on. And who knows if that's why it's happening. But I truly believe that God put IVF on this earth for a miracle. So
exactly. Like, I hate that playing God thing. Like, so didn't God create these people that are brilliant scientists that came up with all of this?
Well, and another, like, I wanted to be like, well, what about like a defibrillator? What about saving someone's life who's in cardiac arrest? Like, that's medical intervention.
Well, that's the whole thing.
You
it's
know,
like,
so it's
the problem is that people have their own opinions about
everything. You know?
Everything. And what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And I think if there's people, whether they're single or they're in a relationship and they can't have biological children for whatever reason, and this is a way to do it, thank you.
Yes, agreed. I totally agree. I just wish it was, and I think you do too, just more affordable for people, because
I mean, that's
we're lucky enough to
be able to afford it. Yeah. And like I was saying, you know, a lot of insurance does not pay for this stuff.
Like none of it.
It's expensive. I don't even know what is. Do you have any idea what a round of IVF costs?
Well, so I actually just did one for somebody through my podcast, and it was, I believe, came out to about like
70,000, and that's not including probably.
That included
all the meds and everything.
That included meds. Now, I believe they did have some coverage. I don't want to get into details, but they did have a little bit of coverage. But it was around 70, I believe, that came from the podcast. So
yeah, I mean, it costs money.
It costs money, and then it doesn't work.
And then it doesn't work.
That's what people don't realize. Like, a lot of times, we were lucky enough where it worked, but a lot of times that's not the case.
I did a bunch of rounds of IUI first. Did you do any of that?
I was not a candidate.
You went right. You went right to
yeah.
But you know what's so crazy about it is that, you know, you feel like, and you were really young. I was 34 when I had the twins, so I guess we started at 32 or something trying. And you think, oh, this is going to be easy because you spend a lot of time trying not to get pregnant.
Yeah, I know.
Right? We try to avoid it.
I'm sitting there
for
going,
a long time.
Yeah, why the hell was I so worried all the time?
Right. Like, had I known, that would have taken a lot of anxiety, and I could have spent a lot less on EPTs. Right?
Yeah.
Please.
I know. It's crazy. It really is. Like, once and it's wild to me that you say 32 and people are talking about how that's old.
Well, they say advanced maternal age they put on your thing.
I know.
I was like, wow.
It's wild.
The shade.
But I will say, because my producer's younger than I am, and we've actually had this conversation because I feel like it's good younger women are trying, or like, you know, getting ahead of things.
Freezing eggs, doing all the things, 100%.
Like making sure their fertility is okay, even if, like, you know, with PCOS and all these things. So I think it's awesome. I think the fact that I do feel like that generation is very hands-on and like going to get things done. And so I love that they're doing that. I think it's pretty awesome. It's just taking control of what you can.
Well, I agree. And I love that they talk about everything.
Yes.
Because, you know, when I was growing up, no one talked about anything. I didn't even know what a period was. My parents were very like 1950s, right? So no, forget about menopause or hormones or any of this stuff. And the truth is, and I wish I had known this, you know, 20 years ago, is that you're supposed to start having your hormones checked at 30, 35.
Oh, gosh.
To get a baseline. Yes. Because what happens is you have all these kids and you're like, it was exactly what you were talking about before. I'm short-tempered sometimes. I'm tired. I'm this and that. And what you tell yourself, and you said this before.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of kids to handle. And I am doing all this stuff. And he's at camp. And Guess what? It's also your hormones. And there is a biological answer to a lot of this stuff.
Oh, geez. I need to
But what we do is, and I did this also.
Yeah.
What we do is we go, oh, I'm just tired because I'm up with it. And we're up all night. And I'm driving 47 hours a day and making 12 lunches and going to all these things.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so tired. And that's why I don't feel like having sex. And that's why, guess what? It's hormones.
Yeah. And you know what? You say this and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I should go get this done. And I should go get this done. And I'm like, in what time?
Yes.
And I think that's another thing too, like taking the time out for yourself to go get these things checked that aren't necessarily, that you don't think are necessarily affecting you, even though they could be. That's tough.
Well, maybe you do a thing for yourself. Like you're saying your husband should take the girls out, right? One at a time.
Yeah.
Give them a once a month thing. But why don't you start with giving yourself a once a month health day?
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you. Going to the doctor's appointment, getting a massage.
I got a lot of doctors I need to see, so it's probably
Have you seen that meme where the mom is like sitting in the car and they're like, self-care is sitting in the car in my driveway?
I do it all the time.
All the time.
I did it outside this podcast studio.
All the time. Why do you think that is?
It's quiet. I don't know. It's like soothing to me. I get to regulate the temperature.
Yes.
How I like it.
Yes. It's sort of safe because it's cozy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I know I'm home, but I'm not inside yet. So I can just like be there, but not be there.
It's home adjacent.
Yeah.
So you can sit in the car and it's like you're home. So you don't really feel guilty because you're right outside.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I haven't seen the meme, but I'm so glad to hear that other people do that. Because sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, I just want to like sit here for a second.
Oh, it's the best.
Listen to whatever I'm listening to.
You know what it's like? It's like when you're younger and you're in your parents' house and you're naked, you're changing, no one's coming in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No one's going to come in if you're naked. So like, you're just fine.
You're good.
Yeah. It's the same thing in the car. No one's going to bug you. You're just in the car.
Yeah. And if someone tries, you're like, 1 second. Like, don't roll down the window. I'm like, I'll be in a minute.
Very important call.
I'm telling you the amount of times. Yes. The amount of times my husband's come out and be like, are you done? I'm like, I guess I am now.
Yes, I am now.
Thanks a lot.
Let's Talk is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedies, celebrity interviews, news, or even motivational speakers, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, then they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. Now that's something you want to press play on all day. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to choose the best option for you fast. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Companies and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout, envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Maybe you just want to visualize where your bar cart will go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. You can literally envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
How do you manage all the anxiety and stress?
I don't do it well, to be honest. I'm working on it. It has been definitely some like learning in progress or whatever that, I don't know. I can't think of the phrase, but, I've tried a lot of different things. And to be honest, the one that I think actually has helped is just communicating my stress to my partner, which is horrible to say. But
does it help though?
You know what? I think just being able to say it kind of clears my head some. Now, whether it's going to help in the long run, I don't know. But, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if I'm really dealing with it. I'm just trying to get through right now. And that's not healthy.
No, but I did the same thing. So I it's like a little fat, like I'm you like 100 years from now. So like, I know it's true. So it's interesting to sort of look back. I did the same thing. Yeah, there are ways to cope that I think that are better. I think putting aside the guilt and making that time for yourself is so important. And if you don't have the resource, you do, but if you didn't have the resources, having, your mom come or a friend come or trade off with friends so that everyone has their one day a month and their thing and whatever. I think it's so important.
Yeah. And I think honestly, guilt, that's huge. The guilt you feel, like the guilt I always feel if I am away from my kids, because I think, again, society has stressed so much, like, to be the perfect mom and to always be there.
But you can't be. And if you're there 24/7, it's like you have to get to a spot where you go, if I'm here 24/7 because I feel guilty, but I'm not being effective and it makes my temper go, how is that helpful?
I agree with you. It's not.
I never drank so much as when my kids were like, little. I don't know, little. Not little, but like your kid's age.
Yeah, I would say, you know what? I would say I don't drink as much, but I will do an edible because I just need to like de-stress myself.
Yeah, that's good. My friend Jessica Zweig, she's an author and podcaster. She's really cool, but she's really into mushrooms. So you can listen to our podcast last week. She talks a lot about mushrooms. A lot of women I know microdose mushrooms now instead of drinking.
I mean,
and instead of edibles. To me, edibles, I just get too stoned. Like
I think I'm really good on them, which is horrible to say, but
No, that's good. You got to find your thing.
yeah. And I will say, like, I am a very, again, like, I'm a high stressed parent. And that might be the fact that my husband's not around some, but I also feel like that's everybody. Like, someone's got to work.
Isn't it easier sometimes, honestly?
Well, you know what? I don't have to save face in front of me. Like, I know he doesn't really agree with all of my parenting techniques. And when he's not there, he can't say anything.
Nope.
And you know what? And I tell him all the time, like, we have damn good kids. They're good. And I'm not saying it's not you. It's not you. But it's not you. I love you.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome. The reason they're so good when you take them to eat and you can do all four with one person, it's not because of...
He can handle all four?
Yes, he can.
That is impressive, friend.
He you know, and he loves it. He, again, like, I feel like it was someone of his calling. Everyone says it was calling to be a quarterback, but I think it was his calling to be a girl dad because he's so good with it. And it's like he's this so masculine at work and he comes home and he's just lets that all go. And
it's so cute. Do they understand what he does?
They do.
Yeah.
So my little one, not really.
No.
She just, whenever she sees like a jersey with a 9 on it, she's like, Daddy. I'm like, well, it's not Daddy, but that's okay.
She recognizes the 9.
No, she recognizes the 9. She'll count 9 minutes for you.
There you
go. My older 3, yeah, and they love going to games. And at first, I wasn't taking them to all of them because it's just a lot of stress. I have someone on the field that I also worry about.
Right.
And so I would kind of like pick and choose games. Now they're begging me to come to all of them. And I'm like, all right. And the only time I would let them use their iPads were at games or on a flight. Because I'm like, those are the 2 times where you can't bother people.
Right.
So for the first year while we were here, they were very excited for their iPads. But the last year, could care less about the iPads, which I love. They sat and they watched the game.
That's
which
great.
Was huge. And I know, and my husband's like, great, right? When I'm like nearing the end, my daughters are starting to understand it.
Oh my God, that's so funny. What do you think about the Taylor Swift effect on football?
Oh my gosh, girl. I've never, the amount of people that care what significant others do now is wild to me.
Right?
Wild. Because to be honest, we kind of do the same thing everyone else does.
Right. Some of you are nurses. Some of you are singers. Some are,
you know what? We're
podcasters.
Some are just moms. Like,
right.
And I say just moms in like the most endearing way because I feel like it's the toughest part of it all. But it's very interesting. Like we've had people come to me and be like, we want to do not reality, but like a documentary on like the women of sports. Yeah. I'm like, what are you going to watch me take my kids to school and make their lunches and come to my podcast? Like we're not that interesting. So honestly,
everyone feels that way about themselves.
Well, I find it comical. Now maybe the younger girls, because I'm older in this game, they probably have a little more jazz to them.
See, I think it's great. This is what I think. I think that if your partner then opens up a door for you to have an interesting next step. Yeah. Like, did you ever think you'd do a podcast? You went to nurse. You're a nurse.
No.
Did you ever think you'd have a podcast?
No. Absolutely not.
But look at this. Look at this great opportunity. I married a doctor. He's on television now. Okay. How weird, right?
That's awesome though.
I think it's great. I think, some people people are mixed feelings about, the Taylor Swift effect of the whole thing. But I think it's great. And I think if it opens up avenues for the partners of players, awesome.
Well, and this is what I'll say too. People don't realize that a lot of players are not in one place for a very long time. So to have like a career as a significant other of any professional
you have to be
athlete,
transient.
You have to be able to do that. Also, part of the shit's part-time because to say, okay, I'm in Minnesota, or he plays for the Vikings, but neither of your families are there. So off season, you're probably not staying if you have kids. You're probably going and going to back home where you might end up after the career is over. So then it's part-time. And so there's all these things that go into it. Now, I will say I love empowering women that are significant others of these people to use it.
Yeah.
Because I do think there's a guilt involved. I had a huge guilt. Even starting this podcast, I was like, the only reason people are listening and that might have been the case when I started it.
Yeah, but so what? That's like saying, this is the same thing as the Nepo baby argument. People go crazy. Oh, it's nepotism. I'm like, yeah, But if you were a welder, your kid would probably become a welder because that's what you do, and you would introduce that. You know what I mean? It's so what? It opens a door. You still have to be good at what you do. If you were a terrible podcaster, no one would listen, and it would be over.
I thank you, and I appreciate that because that's honestly, I was talking to my sister about this because it's always just been a guilt, like never finding your my place. You know, when you're married to someone who everyone in a room, you're in a room, and everyone's trying to get to him,
right?
And they kind of come to you to get to him. And you feel that. And that's like kind of like life that. In a way.
Yeah.
And so everything that, like, what is mine or what's, you know, what have I done for me? And then you finally do something and people are telling people, which is social media, it's all whatever, to, you know, oh, the only reason she even has this. But I do feel like significant others of I wouldn't say even athletes, of people in the limelight, people who are prominent people, probably feel this like imposter syndrome of like, oh, I don't deserve this because the only reason I'm getting this is because of who I'm married to or who I'm with. So it's tough to kind of like get through that, and I'm still working through that. But I love watching all these women, and I don't care if it's Sports Illustrated. If you're in the hell yeah, like that's, and I just want to support because I feel like I'm older in this world. And
which is ridiculous because you're so young.
Well, not in this world. I'm probably one of the oldest ones, if not the oldest. But empower the young girls because I was young and lost myself for a long time.
Yeah, you got to find your own way.
Yeah.
And that's true of anyone. Even like if you were married, if your partner is in the corporate world, and all of that, an attorney or a doctor or whatever it is, the same thing's going to happen. It doesn't have to just be an athlete.
Like, and you know, you have a career and all of a sudden you have kids and you don't have that career anymore and you have to deal with that too.
That's the toughest.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of us went through that, and that is very difficult. And I went through the same thing that you're talking about, but I love that you're doing this. I think it's amazing.
I just want, this is the goal of this podcast is just to breed some positivity because
well, you're creating community and that's what's important.
And I laugh. I talk about it all the time. My personal Instagram page is filled with hate. I post something. People are fighting with each other over stupid shit.
That happens to me too.
Oh, I'm like, why? What's the point? And then on the podcast page, 98% of it, positive. People like just lifting each other up. And that's like what I want because I just feel like this world, we come down on each other so hard, so quick that I want a community where we can just not do that.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys talk about what you're going to do, what your next chapter looks like and where it looks like?
You know what? I think we'll be here.
You think you're staying in LA?
I do think
you
so.
You like LA?
I like
you
it.
You got the bug. Okay.
Yes. You know, for the longest time, we were going to go back to Georgia. He's from Texas, went to Georgia. So we have a lot of mutual, a bunch of friends still live there, and my family's there. But the more we spend out here, honestly, it's kind of nice to have your own thing. You know, I grew up, born and raised Georgia, went to University of Georgia. Honestly, saw my life never leaving Georgia. I didn't even know where Detroit was on the map. I missed geography, so that's my own fault. But
I'm not really good at that either.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I was like, "Where's Detroit?" And I was like, "Oh, it's way up there."
I know where California, Florida, New York,
there you
Texas.
go.
Out.
So, anyways, I don't even know where I was going with that, but we've fallen in love with being here and made some really. You know what's great about LA is no one really cares about him, which is nice.
Oh,
it's like we can feel because there's so many other people.
You could just be a couple and a family.
With
I understand
kids.
that.
Yeah, and blend in and
because it's not like one superstar in a small town.
Yes,
it's like everyone's a superstar.
Yes, if we went back to Georgia, Texas, Michigan, any of those places, I talked about my girls would be known as his daughters, and I've already dealt with being the girlfriend, the wife, the whatever. I want my girls to know that they're like their own people. They're not just his daughters. So like here, they can do that a little more.
That is fantastic.
Well, I mean, it's taken me a very long time to figure it out, but getting there. So, but that's what I want for them.
And tell me how you and Hank know each other. And
oh yeah,
so tell me about the podcast a little bit.
Yes, Hank's my co-host. He is from Michigan. I met him while I was there. He's one of my best friends. He has an adopted daughter with his ex-partner now. And honestly, he's such a joy. And the reason I fell in love with him is he knew nothing about football. So he was not trying.
Don't you love that?
Oh,
yeah.
And my husband, like everyone adores Hank. And if you listen to the podcast, he is such a time. He's so funny. He is older than I am, so he talks about that as well. But it's funny because you would never, if you met us, I feel like
You wouldn't put you together?
well, you wouldn't think we were that separate in age. Like, it was funny. My producer was like, yeah, you have a, what did you call it, Kira? Oh, I don't know. Some kind of friendship where it's like multi-generational?
Intergenerational.
What is it?
Intergenerational?
Something like that.
Right.
And I go, what does that mean? She goes, well, you and Hank are from different generations. I was like, oh shit, we are.
Well, so are my husband and I.
Yeah.
To keep pointing that out.
Well, I mean, it's just, and it's fun. We talk, I mean, obviously he has we're completely different. He's in a single parent household right now, raising his daughter. Now he does have a daughter. He's gay, and you know what? He's just a light. And when I say breathes positivity, that man makes me feel good about myself all the time.
I love that.
So, yeah, so I brought him on for that, to make me feel good. No, but he's such a good dynamic on the podcast. And he was very jealous of me sitting down with you today.
Well, you'll have to bring him next time. All right.
Well, he's in Michigan still.
Oh.
I'm trying so hard to get him here.
Yeah, tell him to come out. What's he doing? We'll call him.
Okay.
Well, you're fantastic. I'm so glad we met. Yeah, it's been fantastic having you on the show. Tell everyone how to find the podcast, how to find you on social, the nice people on social.
Yes.
Better to say nice things.
Only if you're going to come at it with positivity. No, it is the morning after, I think like Kelly and Hank is the podcast page. My personal, if you want to fight with people, it's KB Stafford 89. And the podcast is wherever you get your podcast. We are also a PodcastOne podcast. So yeah.
Woohoo!
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.